How many times have you held yourself back after failing once? It's not an easy question, but think about it. What did that moment feel like? Maybe a heavy chest, a tight throat, and that voice in your head screaming, "I'm not good enough." I've been there too. I remember a time when a project didn't go the way I hoped. I started questioning everything. Am I on the right path? Should I even keep trying? I felt stuck, like the failure had stopped me in my tracks. But here's the truth I learned. Failure doesn't define us. What we do after it does. It's what you do after the fall that shapes your path forward. Not the stumble itself, but your response to it. That's what this journey is about, turning losses into leverage, using your setbacks not as signs to stop, but as stepping stones to rise. And no, it's not about ignoring the pain or pretending everything's fine. It's about facing that pain, learning from it, and walking forward, wiser, stronger. So let's start this together, because growth doesn't begin with perfection, it begins with understanding. And the first step is this: knowing the difference between a mistake, a failure, and rejection. We often throw around words like mistake, failure, and rejection as if they mean the same thing, but they don't. And understanding the difference can change the way you grow. A mistake is like tripping while walking. It's momentary. It's part of learning. You miss a note while learning guitar? That's a mistake. It doesn't define you. It's just something to correct and move forward from. A failure, on the other hand, feels heavier. It's when you aim for something and fall short, like performing the whole song and it just doesn't land. But here's the key. Failure isn't proof you're not good enough. It's proof that you're trying. Failure is part of the process. It's feedback in disguise. Every failed attempt is a message. Adjust, refine, try again. Then there's rejection. That one hits differently. Rejection comes from outside, from someone else telling you no. A job, a relationship, an opportunity. It stings, but their no doesn't shrink your worth. The pain of rejection comes when we believe it says something about who we are, but it doesn't. It only says something about their decision, not your value. The real danger? Confusing these three. When we blur the line, we start believing a temporary moment is a permanent truth, and that confusion can spiral into shame and self-doubt. But now, you see it differently. What do you feel when you fail? Frustration? Shame? That sinking feeling of, maybe I'm just not meant for this? You're not alone. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Think of growth like going to the gym. The first time you'd try to lift something heavy, you might not make it. That's not defeat. It's the beginning. Your muscles need resistance to get stronger. And so does your mind. Growth follows a simple, powerful cycle. Try, fail, reflect, adjust, try again. This is where real progress lives, not in avoiding failure, but in using it. When you fail, you're not at the end, you're in the middle. You're testing limits, pushing past what's familiar. Every misstep is proof you're moving. Think about a GPS. When you take a wrong turn, it doesn't yell, "You're a terrible driver!" It calmly recalculates the route. No drama, just a new path forward. You can do the same with your life. So the next time things go sideways, remind yourself, I'm not off track. I'm adjusting the route. Have you ever noticed how some environments make failure feel terrifying? At work, in school, even at home, we're often taught that failing means we've done something wrong, so we start to play it safe. We stop trying new things. We hold back. But here's the truth. Real growth doesn't happen in fear. It happens in safety. Think about a great sports team. When a player messes up a play, what happens? If the team supports them, encourages them, and learns from it together, that's where trust builds. That's where people feel free to take risks, get creative, and grow. That's what we call psychological safety, a space where it's okay to mess up, where mistakes aren't punishable, they're part of the process. And this doesn't just apply to teams, it's about relationships too. In families, friendships, romantic partnerships. If we're afraid to be imperfect, we start shrinking. We lose the courage to show up honestly. But when someone gives you space to fail with kindness, to reflect and grow instead of being judged, that's a game changer. Want to start building that kind of space? You don't need permission. You can lead by example. Give constructive feedback instead of harsh criticism. Talk openly about mistakes without shame. Be the first to say, "I messed up, but here's what I learned." That simple shift creates a ripple effect, one safe space at a time.
Perfectionism sounds noble, doesn't it? Striving for excellence, wanting to do your best. But here's the hard truth. Perfectionism isn't love for excellence. It's fear in disguise. It's that voice whispering, if it's not flawless, don't even try. And that pressure, it can crush creativity, kill momentum, and make us feel like we're never enough. How many times have you delayed something because it wasn't ready yet, or obsessed over tiny details so much that you lost sight of the bigger picture? That's perfectionism at work, and it leads to one thing: paralysis. You get stuck, overthinking, over-polishing, afraid to move forward unless it's perfect. But here's the good news. You can break free, one choice at a time. Try this. Progress over perfection. Done is better than perfect. Growth is messy, and that's okay. Set real expectations. Stretch yourself, yes, but stop chasing a myth. Seek kind feedback. Surround yourself with people who help you grow, not just point out flaws. The truth is, excellence comes from learning, failing, adjusting, evolving, not from getting it right the first time. So let go of the need to be flawless. Be real instead. Because people don't connect with perfect, they connect with honest.
Failing in private? That's tough. But failing in front of others? That can feel unbearable. We fear the stares, the judgment, the whispers. The spotlight makes every misstep feel 10 times heavier. But here's something powerful. Public failure, when owned with honesty, can be more inspiring than hidden perfection. Think about the leaders you admire, the artists, athletes, creators. How many of them have failed big in front of the world? And yet they didn't disappear. They showed up, owned it, grew from it. That vulnerability, that's what makes them human. That's what earns respect. Because when someone shares their mess and still keeps moving, we don't see weakness, we see courage. You've probably felt that too, watching someone speak at a TED Talk or tell their story in a podcast and thinking, wow, they're real. I've been there too. That moment creates connection, not in spite of the failure, but because of it. And it applies to you. Whether you mess up at work, in a relationship, or on stage, how you respond tells a bigger story than the failure itself. So next time you fall in public, try this. Breathe, own it, and move forward with grace. Don't shrink. Show up. Because authenticity will always outshine perfection.
Here's one of the most powerful truths you can learn. You are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become after it. But how often do we forget that? You fail at something and think, I'm a failure. You make a mistake in a relationship and think, I'm not lovable. We confuse the event with our identity, and that's a trap. The truth? Failure is an event, not a label, not a life sentence. It's something that happened, not something you are. So how do you break that mental pattern? Try this simple practice. Write down the failure in one clear, neutral sentence. I didn't get the job. Now reframe it with compassion. I didn't get the job, but I learned what I need to improve. I'm more prepared for the next one. That small shift is everything. You stop defining yourself by the loss and start identifying with the growth. You're not your worst moment. You're what you do next. And that makes all the difference. Growth isn't just about mindset. It's about practice. That's why I want to share a simple ritual you can do every week to turn failures into fuel. The Friday reframe, or whatever day works for you. Once a week, take 10 minutes. Reflect, write, reset. Here's how. Step 1. Name the failure. What didn't go the way you planned? Be specific, but neutral. No judgment. I missed a deadline. I froze during a presentation. Step 2. Feel it. Let the emotion come. Frustration, disappointment, whatever's there. You don't have to dwell, but don't skip this part. Feeling it helps you release it. Step 3. Find the lesson. What did this moment teach you? Maybe a new skill you need. Maybe a boundary you missed. Every failure holds a lesson, if you're willing to look. Step 4. Decide. Can you fix it? Great. Take action. Can't change it? Then let it go. Move forward lighter, not bitter. When you do this consistently, failure loses its power to define you. Instead of dragging it into the next week, you extract the meaning and leave the weight behind. This tiny ritual can change how you carry your past and how you shape your future.
There's a Japanese art called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, the artist highlights them. The flaws become part of the beauty, not despite the break, but because of it. That's us. Our failures, our scars, our messy parts. They're not things to cover up. They're what make us real, relatable, whole. Every mistake you've learned from, every loss you've grown through, is a thread of gold running through your story. Think about the people you admire most. You don't respect them because they're flawless. You admire them because they've been through something and came out stronger, kinder, more grounded. Your imperfections tell a story, and that story is yours alone. So stop trying to be the untouched vase. Be the one with golden seams, proof that you broke, you healed, and you chose to shine anyway. Because in the end, imperfection is where your true strength and your true beauty lives.
Before we wrap up, if this message is resonating with you, give this video a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Human OS for more insights like this every week.
So, here we are at the end of this journey. But really, it's a beginning. Because failure, it's not the finish line. It's the launch pad. Your strength doesn't come from always getting it right. It comes from falling, learning, and rising again, wiser every time. We've talked about a lot, turning setbacks into growth, letting go of perfectionism, facing public failure, and reframing the way you see mistakes. Now it's your turn. Here's the challenge. This week, take 10 minutes for the reframing ritual. Name one failure. Feel it. Learn from it. Choose your next step. Don't carry it into next week. Don't bury it. Transform it. And most of all, don't chase empty wins. Build something real. Build you with all your cracks and gold seams. You are not your failure. You are who you're becoming because of it. So go, take that next step, not because you're fearless, but because you're ready. And that's more than enough.